Hello and welcome to Suddenly Single, the new and hilarious dating podcast.
Where we're going to get our celeb mates to tell us about their dating disasters.
We're also going to have a few experts in the studio to tell us where you and I are going wrong.
Come on, and I don't think you've got enough makeup on.
I need the sun, I need inspiration. I just want to get.
Hi, we're here with Michael Gunning, swimmer, 200 butterflyer. He's amazing. He's gorgeous. He is 30 and he's also single.
For a very, very long time. I've always been single. That's the crazy thing.
Are you comfortable being single then?
Yeah, I feel like it's taken me a lot of time to love myself and be authentically happy and being me, being a bit different. And I think I'm definitely ready for a relationship, but I'm also happy single as well.
When you say a bit different?
I think for me, I've always been a bit of an anomaly in swimming, being a person of colour. I was always told that black people don't swim. So I was always trying to fight, against the odds of swimming. Obviously with my sexuality as well. I think I came out in sport. So I feel like there's been a lot of differences in my life that I've had to kind of overcome and just to be normal, I guess. So I feel like actually now a relationship, I feel like there's a lot of background that people need to know.
Might be the right time for you. Can I ask you a strange question about your swimming career? Is it true that because I think most sports people would be surprised by this, that you did it as an enjoyment thing rather than as a discipline thing?
Oh, definitely. I've always loved swimming. Well, to be fair, at the very start, I didn't really want to learn. The water was cold. I didn't want to get myself in the water in that way. But I think the minute I started to challenge myself and push my body and I just done it for fun. There was my teammates, there was my friends, there's a special feeling like you're pushing your body beyond all measures. And
so you were just a naturally good swimmer at school? This
I think
is how it started?
I worked very hard. I did train very hard. I was in the water every night after school. But yeah.
For pleasure?
For pleasure. I loved it.
Just ask your mum and dad, can you take me to swimming pool?
Yeah, well,
Wow.
Yeah, I think obviously that skill of swimming is so important. I think everyone should learn to swim. I think that's why now I'm such a big ambassador for getting young people in the water, swimming 25 metres. But yeah, I love the water. It just takes you to a whole new world. At first, it was 3 nights a week and it was just a little bit of fun. Didn't really take anything too seriously. Whereas I think when I got my first national qualifying time and kind of going to the big nationals up in Sheffield, it was the commitment. It was swimming every night. It was pushing your body really hard. It was good nutrition. It was everything.
And forgive me, for what age was that then when you started to
Age 12.
So at 12, then it was a full-time commitment. When you hit a certain point of being known and working towards everything else, like parties, going on holiday, getting drunk at weekends, socialising with your peers, did that all take a back burner?
Oh, definitely. I used to love ice skating as well. I used to love kind of being on the ice rink and trying new things, challenging myself. But actually, I couldn't do any of that because it was all about swimming. It was all making sure that I wasn't injured, eating the right foods, going to bed early. It's a very, very big commitment.
So either of your parents massive swimmers?
No. So my parents couldn't actually swim.
Neither of your parents can swim?
No,
Wow.
which I think is why they were so passionate about getting me to learn and taking me to the pool. And when I was loving it and enjoyed doing the mornings and evenings, they were the ones that were dropping me off and picking me up after it.
So now you're out of competitive swimming.
Yes.
You forged very successfully your own broadcasting career. You started to brand yourself in that way. Does that mean you're doing catch-up now in all the things that you couldn't do before?
Oh, definitely. Alcohol is probably a big one. Probably drinking too much.
Well, don't worry.
We'll
It is for us as well. Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's just nice to be able to challenge myself in other ways and see what else exists outside of the pool because, I never had late nights. I was always so strict. So it's nice to have a cheeseburger and a glass of wine.
And what's your point of reference now then? Because you're a very good looking guy. I imagine you're in London, you are out and about, you're doing things. People must come on to you. Do you think what's happening here, or I'm not comfortable with this because I'm not in control, or how does it work in your head?
You know what? So I feel quite insecure at the minute. I think, it's been 2 years since I've officially retired now and I put on 12 kg. I'm not as ripped and as lean as I used to be. So actually, I think there's a lot of inner demons that probably doesn't even pick up on people coming on to me because I think that I'm so far away of athletically what I was when I was swimming 25 hours a week and kind of traveling around the world that I'm probably a little bit insecure, to be honest.
you and I you've done an interview with me before where we've talked very much about being Jamaican and the difference in culture when it came to you coming out, and B, how that affected you and how that affected your mum. Do you think, because I think it's quite interesting, you're saying I'm coming up to 30, I'm just starting to find myself, to accept yourself first, which I think is a really grown up and sensible way to do it, actually, not to sort of go off the deep end drinking and partying and what have you, to avoid that. You feel to me like somebody who's coming at it the right way. You've dealt with everything that, you feel that you've had to deal with here.
Yeah, I suppressed my sexuality for so many years. And I think, that interview with you and my mum, it was so nice to hear my mum's side of her experience, because I've never heard that before. I think in sport, because I was already so different being a person of colour in swimming, I kind of didn't want to be further different from everyone else. And I think everyone knew my sexuality. I've always been really flamboyant and open. But for me, I think everyone's on their journey of actually understanding it themselves and being ready to talk about it. So, I think it was great when I felt like I was comfortable to come out as gay, and it's a whirlwind out there. I think the LGBT community is crazy and I was not ready for it, but I also embrace it at the same time.
What was the swimming world like when you came out? Because you said that you were aware that you thought that they probably would know anyway, but was there a positive or negative reaction? Or
Really, really positive.
Oh, good.
I think I worked out up in my head that it would be awful and people wouldn't feel comfortable changing with me anymore. But actually, everyone
I
was
didn't even
really
think of
lovely.
that until you just mentioned that. Yeah, it's practical things, isn't it?
Yeah, for me, it was a massive fear that people wouldn't feel comfortable around me, you know, and because obviously in swimming, we don't really wear much clothes all the time. And I never wanted anyone to feel insecure or worried about me. But I think, I came out I think when I came out, I was just ready to almost face those demons such, and kind of embrace it. And actually people all around the world were coming up to me saying that they resonated with how I felt, and it was great.
Well, if you could describe the perfect man for you, what would that be like?
They would be kind. They would
You're
be
kind.
really good looking. I feel like for me, I really want to be sexually attracted to someone.
Yeah.
I know that a lot of people talk about connection, but I think because I've been around a lot of good looking sports people, for me, I feel like I really want to be sexually attracted to someone. Know what their future holds. I think obviously we're all on our own journey, but actually I want someone who knows themselves, is ambitious and knows what they want, and kind of know that they want me as well, if that makes sense.
Would you consider an app?
I'm actually on a couple of dating apps.
Are you?
Yeah.
Excellent.
Again, it's very scary. I think I got my friend to look at some of my bio, and I think it actually came across a little bit different than I wanted it to come across.
Why?
I obviously said that I was very athletic, and I can't remember the exact words, but I think obviously some people could see that as sleeping around. I don't know. I think I overthink it a lot, and I'm like, I just need to keep that halo on top of my head.
But then presumably once you're on the dating apps, there must be people connecting with you and saying, I'd like to go out on a date. That must be overwhelming in its own sense, because how do you choose?
Yeah, no, definitely. And I think there's a big pool of people out there with lots of different ambitions. Some people don't necessarily want a serious relationship, whereas in my mind, I do. I'm not really in it for a bit of fun. I'd like to kind of find a genuine connection. And I think it all started for me, in 2018, I went on a dating show and had a couple of dates on TV, and that's how I came out as gay. But since then,
What dating show is that?
It's called The Bi Life. Yeah.
The Bi Life, and that's when you came out.
Came out as gay on the show.
Wow! And so you knew that people would be watching that show for the first time, would be seeing you confirming or delivering that news.
Yeah.
Wow, that was what a way to do it after keeping it in for so long.
I know. I just think I didn't want to have to sit down with everyone and tell everyone about my sexuality. I just wanted to do it all in one, not have to tell anyone, and just kind of appear on that show. And that was kind of my very first ever date, but I've not actually dated since the show. I've not been on like a real life non-TV date.
Really? Since 2018, so 5 years ago.
Yeah.
You've not been on a date.
No.
You've been out for dinner with somebody that
Yeah.
you fancy.
Oh,
You've held
yeah.
hands. You've.
Yeah, with friends.
Yeah. But not a first date.
No.
So the dating apps haven't worked for you then?
No. I've just not connected with anyone. For me, time is the most important thing. And I think, so many people can probably relate, but I don't want to go on a date that I kind of come away after 2 hours and think, oh, no, I shouldn't have met them. And I know we have to go through mistakes and it's a journey, but I think since I retired, it's been so non-stop and full on that I've just not really dedicated that time to actually.
So what would you do? Have a coffee? How quickly are you getting out of this 2 hour no?
I think it'd have to be a drink. It'd have to be go to a bar or go for a walk, and so then you have that exit strategy as well.
Yeah, of course. 2 hours is a long time, by the way, isn't it?
Oh, yes. I had a cup of coffee on Saturday. They won't know what Saturday, so I can't identify them.
Last weekend.
It was a very long hour. Let's just say it was a long hour.
Yeah.
Did you have decaf or was it?
No, I had full bouncing coffee. Thinking of.
Do you have some friends that you can go to that are a good litmus test to say, look, that's who you should be looking for, or this is what you're doing wrong, or why aren't you doing that? Is there a certain mantra that's repeated back to you from your friends saying, this is what you need to do?
I think just embrace it. I'm always looking for perfection in swimming and sport and my career, that actually I'm always looking for perfection in who I want to go on a date with. Yeah. And actually, no one's perfect, and I think now I'm starting to learn that I just need to embrace it and go and meet someone.
Yeah.
So did your parents marry years ago and that was quite young?
Yeah.
So you're looking for that sort of perfect, be sensible and serious about somebody.
100%. They met at school and they've been together over 40 years. And I think that's also, why I feel like I've got the pressure, because I want what they have. I want their endless love, because they still do generally love each other. And I feel like I'm almost looking for that when I'm going on a date.
But you've got to be in the race to win it. Got to kiss a few frogs.
It's true, yeah.
We don't have to kiss them.
No, but you've got to go out to meet people to know if it's the right person or not, I would have said.
Well, we'd know.
Yes, we'd know. Yeah, don't talk
I think
to us.
Michael's being a bit more picky than
But talking
us.
of which, we have an expert, don't we?
We do. Shall I go and get her in?
It might be worth, She's fantastic, by the way. She's very lovely. And she's very insightful.
Okay.
Yeah. Just wanna get out of here.
Here we are with Francine Kay, a couples coach and relationship expert, and a friend of ours now. You've been on Suddenly Single a few times. This is so we got Michael here, who is not only a celeb and an Adonis-looking young man, but we both know him a little bit personally, and it's probably the biggest conundrum that we have so far. So Francine's here to help if you want any advice, and not that you've asked for any, but we're going to give you some advice. So in a nutshell, you've just turned 30, haven't had any noticeable dates in quite a few years since you've come out. And I'm like, how come? Because, he's attractive, he's in broadcast, he's in London, he's doing all the bits and pieces. But there seems to be a barrier. Do you put yourself out there? As in, if you're in a party, will you chat to somebody and... Yeah, you're very sociable.
Yeah, I'm very sociable, but I think I can't really connect the dots of being interested in them in that way, or whether it's just a friendly chat. I think the main problem is that I'm so scared of getting my heart broken that I don't really put myself out there enough to embrace it. I think I totally agree with what you said. I always give 110% with any conversation that I have with anyone that I can help or inspire along the way. But I think probably just that inner demons, that insecurity of myself is kind of blocking me, I guess,
because you've got a lot to live up to. So when you come from a secure background, even though you've had your challenges in coming out and everything that's happened, you've known they love you.
Yeah.
So when you come from that level of love and you get out there in the world, there's a lot of people that haven't been brought up like that. And so what you find yourself doing is mentoring and inspiring and being there for them and encouraging. And when you're out now, it might be nice to see if you could feel some joy coming from them. Oh, I really like his conversation. I like the way he's passionate about something in his life.
Yeah.
I would like you to be looking for qualities in them that turn you on a bit, that give you a bit of joy and a bit of sparkle. Have you done it that way ever?
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah, so that would be interesting. Can you think about the last time you were at a party where you spoke to a guy who was interesting to you rather than him taking from you?
Yeah, I do think I meet a lot of people that I'm interested in, but it's just, I guess, bringing it together in that romantic sense, because I think we do go to quite a lot of parties now, to be fair, and we meet a lot of people. But it's how do you know within that party what those standout bits are when you only meet them so shortly or briefly?
Well, that's the thing. I mean, you have to take a chance on that. So say you had a 3-date rule. Okay. So the 3-date rule would be, this person's interesting. Let's meet up for a coffee or a drink, something that's not too long.
Yeah.
Because just in case it's, it's
Painful.
it's painful. Exactly. And if that works well, then the second date is, why don't we go out for a day in London? Why don't we just walk around and get to know each other a bit? Daytime, just daytime. If that goes well, then the third date could be something a little bit more restauranty or, doing something that's a little bit closer. Mm-hmm. You should know by about 3 dates whether or not you've got anything connecting you.
But is it different in the LGBTQ plus community? Because I feel like there's this added pressure as a gay man to almost live up to, I guess, the stereotype of being a gay man. Like, I don't sleep around. I think most people would see me as a swimmer and being athletic and think that I've had many dates, but I feel awful kind of telling the truth sometimes and saying that I've not been in a relationship. And I feel like the LGBT community has kind of put this pressure on me as well to be a certain way and to kind of live up to just my swimmer body, if you know what I mean.
I think that makes
you
you a
said any
better
of those
catch.
things, you'd be even more of a cat
Yeah.
next to people.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't worry about saying any of those.
Well, I think it's really hard for all men to ask, because I wouldn't ask a man out. Maybe it's to do with my age, but that would actually make me feel physically ill if he said no. So I think that's a really hard thing to do for someone like Michael who's not done it before. It isn't really that thing when you've done it a few times, you realise it doesn't really matter if it works out or it doesn't work out. Nobody's really lost face. It's just a glass of wine or a cup of coffee. But that initial, I still wouldn't do that at my age. I still wouldn't say to a guy, why don't we go for a drink?
You wouldn't?
No.
Yes.
Because I just think if they wanted to, they'd ask. And that's really old-fashioned. And I do think that.
Yeah, and you're probably right. That's probably where I've gone wrong a few times. Just because I have said, so would you like to?
No, I think that's really good because a lot of men don't know where they stand anymore and what they can say and what they can't do. It's like getting on the tube. Do you stand up or you don't? It's like a Mexican wave of
Well, they can all stand
doubt.
up for me.
Yeah, they can stand up for
any
me.
men out there, if you see me on the
Yeah.
tube, I'll take your seat and I'll be very grateful. Thank you.
Now, we've got a goldfish bowl of questions,
We have.
of truth
We have.
as well that we
Yes.
would love to share.
Just wanna get out of here. Woke up feeling
First up.
Am I going to go first?
Yeah, guess
Right.
first.
If you were on a dating app, what would make you swipe left straight away?
He's left the no way.
Oh, is it? Is that the no way?
Yeah.
Okay, I wouldn't have known that.
Or I think for me, I need to see some authenticity. It can't be too posy photos. It's got to be some substance in it.
And where
Yeah.
would you see that the most? Would you see it in the eyes or where would you see it?
Just in the pictures itself.
The
I
whole
feel
demeanour,
like their
yeah.
body, how body confident are they and how much are they just trying to show
Yeah.
off themselves and their body?
See, you're good at this.
Okay.
You're good at this. And that's exactly the same when you're out.
So, as a veteran of this,
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
what would be a left swipe for you?
Do you know what would be for me is that having had a few dates along the way where they don't resemble their pictures, is that there weren't enough pictures which you could tell were genuine and are not from 1953 in a sepia tone, and they're so blurred that you don't know if you need cataract sorting out. You just want to say, okay, that's that, and that, because anybody can take a couple of good pictures with the right angle and the right thing. It's actually seeing somebody enough to that's how they represent. That would be, if you can't tell that straight away, then there's sometimes you go, the amazing, beautiful picture. No, because it's just one picture. How about
So
you?
difficult. Isn't
Well,
it?
I'm afraid I might have done that to someone on Saturday when I didn't bother to put any makeup on, having put on my work photos. But for me, it's just, do I find them at all attractive, or do I think there's something about their bio that I would like about them? They're divorced because they understand kids, or they live near enough because traveling 2 hours to see somebody is really
geographically inaccessible.
sometimes you just want to go 10 minutes for a coffee. There would be reasons, but I would imagine
Coffee.
that the major one is, do I find them at all attractive?
Yeah, I think. Carry on.
Can I ask?
Yeah,
so
yeah.
obviously, as a swimmer, I've now retired. I've put on 12 kg. I don't
Michael,
look as
you-
ripped. I
You
honestly,
are stunning. Can I just
Gorgeous,
you.
absolutely
Honestly.
gorgeous.
But like, I do feel like some people would be disappointed if they see me. If I saw a picture of me 2 years ago that I've used, how do you know what is?
I think you're
I
putting a
don't
lot
think
on your
you
own.
don't look that different. You do not.
Yeah, you're waiting.
I've seen
when
you
it
at
isn't.
premieres lately. You do not look that different.
And also, I'll pull you up on about them thinking about you. That's not what you're in business for now. You're going out to interview whether or not they're going to be right for you.
Yeah.
It's really, really get yourself into that mindset,
Okay.
because
Scary though.
you're interviewing for the job of perhaps being in your life. My God, how valuable is that? Ask your parents; they'll tell you.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
No, thank you.
Yeah, you look hideous. God.
He said 20 years later.
Oh, if you were on a dating app, what would be your must-haves in a partner? Well, I know the
can't
answer
answer
to this
that.
question. It would be. I am changing my mind about being over 50 lately.
But you're going to stop it.
A lot of people, young guys ask, and they always say, "Well, why won't you come?" And I'm like, "Because you're too young. Just stop." And I think, well, if it doesn't bother them, I'm not really sure why it bothers me. So I might change my mind on that one. But I think,
What, you date a bit younger?
yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
But definitely either needs to have had children or needs to have been divorced, because on some level, I need to see that you can commit, that you don't have this impossible wish list of things that,
And you can
think
share.
is achievable, but
Yeah.
really, really isn't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
I could-
sharing, people who have been in that situation know how to share.
Yeah, they do, because you have to. If you're a parent or you've been in a long-term relationship, you have to compromise. You have to. And I think that gets harder and harder.
Those
be
are
honest.
good points to tick, though, isn't it? Either divorced or been married or had kids, because at least shows you some semblance of maturity.
Ability to
Yeah.
connect.
How about you? Would you go out with somebody that's already had kids or been married? And what's your age range? Are you looking at your early 20s?
I was actually going to say, I think my must-have is they must be older than me.
Yeah.
I think I just find myself more attracted to someone who's older and has a bit of life experience.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think that's my must-have.
Yeah.
That would make
What's the
sense.
definition of older? Because that could be very different in the gay arena as opposed to the straight
Yeah,
arena.
no, I think just older than me. So obviously I'm 30, so anything older than me, I think
Yeah.
that's what my criterias are on kind of my dating apps anyway. So I'm not even opening myself to the
Right, that's
younger
interesting. though,
generation.
Yeah.
Which
So that's a sign of
maybe-
maturity
Isn't
as
it?
well, though, isn't it?
Isn't
That you're
it?
not just trying to go out with everybody.
Yeah,
And the part of you that knows it needs that. So it's like really questioning yourself a bit. Why would I want somebody who's more mature? Because they'll be able to provide me with this.
yeah,
And then now you've got some criteria going on.
yeah.
So you're creating your own
Well, it's
values.
interesting because we had Katie Price on one of our podcasts, and she's never ever dated anybody older than her, apart from Peter Andre, but that was marginal. So she's never been back, and she'd love to, but she'd never done it.
Wow.
Oh, sorry, excuse me. Go. What's your biggest mistake when dating? My biggest mistake when dating is I give too much of the benefit of the doubt. Very much. And I'll go on and on and on like that until things are perhaps a bit past their sell by date, because I'm always thinking, yeah, but there's probably more. It's probably, there's probably more. And that's one of my biggest mistakes. I've gone for Leos, which has not been
You into
good.
star signs?
He's a Taurian, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm Taurus. I don't really know much about the other star signs apart from my own. Like whenever I look at star signs, I always read, right, what's it saying for me this
Linda
month?
Goodman book is a good one.
Isn't it? I've got
Yeah,
that
you should
book.
get that for your flights when you're going on holiday.
Do you believe in
Fantastic.
star signs?
Well, no, but it is a good book, and it's interesting because it has whatever your star sign is. I'm Scorpion. It says Scorpio with Leo, Scorpio, and it gives you all the
Oh,
Yeah.
breaks
okay.
it down. Yeah, it's a really good. It's a book that's about 30 years old, isn't it?
And as a
Scorpio's got a sting in
Taurian,
its
you're
tail.
a finisher. So if you start something, you finish it. So what would be very frustrating for you is somebody who doesn't finish. They start, but they don't complete.
Yeah.
And you'd find that quite frustrating in a
What are we
partner.
talking
I
about?
know.
I think we'd all be frustrated with that.
That's hysterical.
No, I need a finisher, that's for sure.
Yeah, we all do. I think we all got hands in. Right, I think we've got time for another quick one, haven't we?
Right, let's have a look.
That's so funny.
When was the last time a partner bought you flowers?
Ooh, or a
you
gift.
bought flowers
Or
for
you
somebody.
bought flowers.
Ooh. I buy lots of my friends flowers
Oh.
just to remind them that they are valued and important.
Well, we didn't get any flowers.
And have you got many?
We're not his friends.
I have, yes.
So when was the last time you got flowers?
Oh, about 3 months ago. Yeah, but we were just friends.
Yeah, but
What
it's
was
nice.
it? Or could it have been a bit more? Somebody sent me flowers. I'd always second guess why the flowers are being sent.
No, maybe that. No, they were
No.
just nice. Just
Aw.
nice.
So, when was the last time you had flowers?
They weren't from my daughter, not sure.
No.
Right,
No.
buy Siobhan flowers.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
What about you?
In a romantic sense, I don't know. Before lockdown, probably. I don't know. I have had some flowers bought for me, but not for a while. Maybe 2 or 3 years ago. Yeah.
A woman bought you flowers.
Mm.
Oh,
Mm.
I think
nice.
that's a
What
lovely
went you
thing
for
to
dinner?
do.
Yeah.
Oh, ever cheated?
It's a nice short one.
Terrible. That's a terrible question. Once, just one night. Yeah, it's disastrous. Ended everything. Not a good idea.
No, it isn't,
No,
is it?
Terrible idea, Siobhan.
Some relationships, it's cheating with a small c. There's almost an understanding, acceptance that this is going to go on because everything else is
In
being...
what world is that? I don't think
Well,
most
no.
females have that world.
Well, I don't know. There's some people that I know that are aware of that situation and they kind
Yeah.
of just do their own thing.
Are they
and-
married
Yeah.
and they want to keep the family together?
Well,
Well, they'll have
family,
reasons.
lifestyle,
Yeah.
whatever it happens to be.
Because how you make a choice in that situation is you make something more important than something else. And then you could actually stay and bear it because you've made something else more important. Women have been
I
doing
couldn't
that
do
for
that,
years.
could you?
I
Be in
could-
a proper
No.
relationship and somebody's cheating on you.
I
No.
think for the LGBT community, an open relationship is really common.
Mhm.
And I've had a lot of open relationship men who have been so attractive that I would have loved to have gone out on a date with them, but they've got a
It's not for
partner.
you.
Yeah,
No.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
I just can't get my head around how that would
Yeah.
work.
Yeah.
Would I be able to make him fall in love with me to leave
Yeah.
his partner? That's kind of what goes through my
Yeah.
mind, which is
Yeah.
awful. But yeah, I could never do it.
So now you've put another criteria in. See, once we start talking about it, another one is exclusivity.
Oh yeah, for me
Yeah, and
that's just
fidelity.
non-negotiable.
Yeah.
There you
yeah.
go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
And on that bombshell, I think we should finish.
Yeah. Just wanna get out of here.
On the next episode of Suddenly Single, TV icon Tamsin Outhwaite tells us about being happy and single.